morning, everybody. Keith Engle. Oh, the music went fast. Keith Engle here for Jack and Keith's Weekend Playbook. I'm joined by my co-host, Boxing Hall of Fame writer Jack Hirsch. How are you today, Jack?
Hey, good, Keith.
Are we tired? It's been a long day, long week for me already.
I'm not as tired as I would have been because let me start off with a confession. When they had the lightning delay during the Cowboy-Eagle game, I thought that could last a couple of hours, and I checked out at that point. I wasn't going to wait around, and as it turned out, it was a 65-minute delay, and the game ended 12:18 a.m. Eastern time, which I may have stayed up for had I known that was going to be the ending to the game, because I anticipated a game that could end 1:30, in the evening, and I wasn't going to stay up for that. But it looked like I wasn't the only one that fell asleep, late after the lightning delay. It seemed that the players did as well.
Yeah, I think that's part of the story. I mean, they lit up the scoreboard the first half. I mean, I think they scored literally, maybe not literally, but close to every possession that there was a score. In the second half, there was 3 points, and it started basically. I think it was 8.5 minutes left, maybe in the third quarter when that lightning delay hit. And it did suck the life out of the stadium, the players, out of me, and obviously you. But before going backwards, I mean, this game wasn't 6 seconds old. These two teams don't like each other. We know that. Haven't for some time. And Jalen Carter gets himself thrown out of this game 6 seconds into the game in a spitting incident with Zach Prescott. And you had mentioned Prescott. I'll let you talk about him in a second. I have to tell you, goodbye, Jalen Carter. To me, this is a big difference. I think the Eagles win this game much more handily with Jalen Carter in the middle of that defense where he normally is. And for Jalen Carter, you can't be that stupid to get thrown out of this game 6 seconds in. And that is, by the way, one of the most despicable things you can do to another human being is spit in their face. I'm sorry.
Well, let me tell you, the moment Jalen Carter did that and got kicked out of the game, the happiest person in the stadium was Jerry Jones. Yeah. Not because it would help the Cowboy team in itself, because the first thing we were going to talk about, all the commentators were going to talk about the next morning, is not Jerry Jones moving on from Micah Parsons, but Jalen Carter getting kicked out with the spitting. Yeah. That's the big thing. Notice we're not talking about Micah Parsons, how that might have affected the Cowboys. It's all speculative how much it really did affect them during the game. We could say it hurt the Cowboys because in the first half, they really didn't get it. They got a pass rush on Jalen Hurts, but he was able to always escape, and hurt the Cowboys with his runs. But as far as Jalen Carter doing that, this morning, though, it came out that Dak Prescott was actually the guy spitting, not at Jalen Carter, he said, but he spit around players near them, but not at them. And Dak even said this morning, I wasn't spitting at Jalen Carter. And reportedly, Jalen Carter said to me, you spitting at me? And then he spit on Dak Prescott. So it seems to me that there may have been a bit of a misunderstanding. In any event, it's stupid of Jalen Carter.
Stupid.
He didn't get spit directly on him. To spit on Dak Prescott at that moment, I guess he was returning his spit, or however the disgusting term you want to make it.
Yeah.
But in any event, Jalen Carter getting kicked out, and then leaving with that goofy smile on his face. I don't want to read too much into a guy smiling, because sometimes that could give a false impression. Case in point, when the great umpire Jim Joyce messed up on Manuel Galarraga's perfect game, Galarraga was stunned and he had this big smile on his face. And obviously he wasn't happy. He said later he was shocked. So sometimes a facial impression can give the wrong impression. And maybe that's what happened with Jalen Carter. But as you know, Keith, and I'm going to sum it up, Jalen Carter has a lot of baggage entering the NFL. He can't afford this. Him of all people can't afford this.
A character is important, and I have a question about, because I didn't see the Dak Prescott comments. He was spitting around players, but not at players. You're saying he wasn't?
Yeah, Dak was saying something to the effect he spits a lot, but like a ball player spits in the dugout.
No, that's what I mean. It's incidental spitting. That's
Right,
spitting.
right. He wasn't spitting at Jalen Carter, and there's no Yeah, and why would that? Why would Dak Prescott be spitting at Jalen Carter at that moment? But what was Jalen Carter doing towards the Cowboy huddle? One of the Eagle players was hurt, and there's a pause in the action. Why is he walking towards the Cowboy huddle?
Yeah,
I don't get it.
It's again, that type of behavior is, and James hits it right on the head. Distressed. He might have meant the word disgusted, because that's what I kind of use. It is literally, to me, it's the lowest form of interaction you can have with somebody. You can take a gun. You're a bigger man than spitting at him. I can tell you right now, in my mind. But and again, I think it affected the Eagles. I think the Cowboys probably ran the ball. They didn't pressure Dak Prescott the way they might normally pressure him. And I think it really changed their approach on defense a bit, and probably kept the Cowboys in this game more than it would have otherwise. So,
we don't know the effect with Jalen Carter on this particular game. It's easy to say. Obviously, he would have helped the Eagles, but we don't know to what point. I don't want to hear, well, if he didn't get kicked out, they would have won by 10 points, 11 points instead of 4.
We don't
There's no idea. Just like we don't know the effect of the Cowboys not having Micah Parsons.
Right.
Chris Collinsworth during the game made a mention of it at one point, how it could have affected the pass rush. But in the second half, the Cowboy pass rush came to life. They were doing good. They were getting penetration.
The Cowboys, I thought, did a great job of pressuring Hurts, but not containing him, because he ran for, I think, 60-some yards and had some big first downs and a touchdown on pressure. That was not surprising. I thought the Cowboys did a pretty good job on Saquon last night. He was contained for the most part. He averaged about 3 yards a carry.
And Kenny Clark seemed to play well. Nothing spectacular like Micah Parsons. When you sack the quarterback, I mean, you set the stage, basically. You stop a run. You're not. Dak Prescott, big respect to him yesterday. I mean, he played a heck of a game. I mean, he showed tremendous leadership qualities. He even made a great tackle, a touchdown-saving tackle after a fumble. And Dak was a tune. He was going up and down the bench. He was really into it. And this version of Dak Prescott is one of the best quarterbacks in football. The question is, can he stay healthy, and can he sustain it over the entire season? And I just want to say one more thing. We had James make a remark, Jay Train, a little while ago about C.D. Lamb. Yesterday was my point that C.D. Lamb is a wonderful receiver who could be a number one receiver, maybe on most of the teams, maybe, but he's not one of the elite receivers in the NFL. Don't put him in the same category as Jamar Chase and Justin Jefferson, amongst others. I mean, I'll take Malik Neighbors over C.D. Lamb. C.D. Lamb is a heck of a receiver, but those drop balls, I mean, that hurt the Cowboys more than anything.
Oh, and for 2 in the fourth quarter, when they're still in a position to win this game, and you look at, if your guy just looks at the box score, right, you go, C.D. Lamb had a pretty good day, 107 catches, 110 yards, whatever. But those drops are more important to me than probably anything else he did the rest of the night. And I don't know if the Cowboys are better than we thought. Again, it's the first game. We know they don't really play any football till now.
Don't evaluate. I could say the Eagles are maybe not as good as we thought. I mean, I could flip it that way. Yeah. It's one game. I will say this, Keith, unlike what you said about past games last year, which were proven to be true, where the play was sloppy opening game, the play wasn't sloppy in this game. It was a well played game. They were and both teams seemed really well coached.
Other than the drops we already talked about, that part.
Well, that's a physical. No, that's a physical thing. I mean,
again, though, you don't get reps in training camp enough. You're going to make silly mistakes like dropping balls. or maybe he's a drop. I don't know how many drops he has, quite frankly, as a rule. Good morning, by the way, to Rick and Brian and James and Jeremy, I know are here.
I know Rick wants to talk about the Mayweather-Tyson exhibition. We'll get to that later.
And that later, yeah. Thank you for pointing that out. I didn't want to think Rick was I was just skipping over Rick. So, yeah, just like college week 1 reactions, it's hard to get you can get a gauge on teams. This Dak, Dak played really well, kept them in the game. They could have got blown out in the first half. Actually, either team could have got blown out in the first half if they weren't just matching each other. So, yes, I always liked Dak's leadership abilities. Actually, in a regular season, they're really good. It's a playoffs where he's come up short and sometimes had some brain freezes. But I always think Dak gets a pretty bad rap anyway as a quarterback in general.
Well, I'm not sure he's come up so short in the playoffs. I think it's the Cowboy team. Remember that one legendary game he lost to Aaron Rodgers? What was it, 38-35? The two of them, both quarterbacks, walked the charts for that game.
Well, you know what I think about, and when I think about the playoffs and Dak Prescott, I can only think of one play, and it was the one with the clock winding down where he doesn't spike the ball. He doesn't even get to the line of scrimmage to stop the clock. You got to know what's going on as a quarterback. That was a few years ago, right? And Zach is a different guy and a more mature quarterback.
But let me tell you, that play's overrated. Let's say he was able to stop the clock. Cowboys would have had one play left where they would have had to go for a touchdown. And what were they on? Something like the 14-yard line, So it still would have been a tough situation they would have been in, but they would have had an extra play.
Well, I listen to Brian's comment here. I am not excusing CD's performance last night. The preseason is what it is, or lack of it. They'd have to catch those balls. I don't disagree at all.
I think that's where the Cowboys made a mistake, with the contracts. If they couldn't pay the big three, between the Prescott, Lamb, and Parsons, and that would have taken up about 50% of their cap. That would have been a heavy hit to sign all three.
Yeah.
I mean, I would have signed Parsons ahead of Lamb, but I
agree.
But what can I tell you? That was the decision they made, and they felt they had time to get the Parsons contract, and they would work it out. And things happened, and it just didn't work out.
I think they would. I agree with you because I think they would have an easier time finding a suitable replacement for CD than for Micah Parsons.
And another thing too, and we're not going to spend really time talking about the deal because we've done it before.
Yeah.
But obviously, the Packers are going to get the better of the deal this season because the draft choices don't kick in till later on. So you can't judge the trade till it's done, unless Kenny Clark has a phenomenal year and Micah Parsons is injured and he plays on and off. If both players are healthy, they play up to form. Obviously, Micah Parsons is a bigger force. So I don't want to hear throughout this season, oh, what a terrible deal for Dallas. And we got to see where Green Bay winds up. If Green Bay has a so-so year, let's say they're 8-9, and it's a decent number that the Cowboys would be picking at, that maybe changes the equation.
I mean, the defense. One thing I might comment on here, again, the Eagles maybe being worse. It's a first game reaction, as Brian said. AJ Brown's non-existent in this game. The offense was really Jalen Hurts getting out of trouble, throwing the football and running the ball out of trouble. I thought that was the majority of Philadelphia's offense last night, and that can't be what they do week in and week out. And I know it won't be. Barkley's going to be better, and Brown's not going to go one catch for 8 yards every week. But
and Devontae Smith, like 3 catches for 16 yards. I'm going to tell you, you could get away with it for one game. And I know Nick Sirianni said, oh, they're totally unselfish, A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith. Yeah, their team won. They're not going to say anything publicly. They're not going to have a hissy fit because it's one game they won. You better believe A.J. Brown, even though he's smiling on the outside, he's pretty annoyed on the inside.
One target last night.
One target. And you want to know something? We were talking about C.D. Lamb a moment ago. If you forget about age and put them both at their very best, A.J. Brown's better than C.D. Lamb. And he thinks C.D. Lamb getting all these targets but it's a different team, of course.
Agreed. What Eberflus? We got a comment about Eberflus. I'd forgotten he was even a defensive coordinator down there. He didn't adjust soon enough to.
It's hard. Listen,
He's an athlete.
Saquon Barkley.
Yeah.
If you would have told me Saquon Barkley was only going to get 60 yards, you would have really liked Dallas's chances.
Yep. There's only one way to contain him, and that's not to pass rush him the way they do. And that's just to keep him in the pocket and surround him, right, with a spy. And, again, if you're going to put pressure on him, then he gets out of it, he's going to get big chunks of yards. That's just the way the game works. And, again, I'm not a big Eberflus fan, so I get that. AJ's playing. He's playing right now. Is he lame? Or is you were saying his play is lame? I'm not sure what you're saying there, Brian. So he's not playing well. Anyway.
Well, it's one game. One game. He only got targeted once. Why are we picking on him?
Yeah. I mean, how many touches did Saquon get last night? Like 20-something? I mean, is that going to be norm? Yeah,
well, you can tell the Cowboy game plan was to contain Saquon Barkley.
Yeah,
and when your game plan is to contain one particular player, you could usually contain them to a large degree, but it opens things up to everyone else.
Yeah. So, in the long run, I mean, did we learn anything last night?
The Cowboys have a bit of a running game, a little more than I thought.
Yeah.
Okay, and maybe they are better than we thought. Maybe the Eagles, had a little bit of a Super Bowl hangover and took the Cowboys lightly. Who knows? It's one game. I don't want to take too much out of it.
They were that too. I mean, a Cowboy, listen, at the end of the day, it wasn't as badly played as a lot of these early season games are. You're right there. And the Cowboys were a couple of drop passes, as we and a couple of the commenters have mentioned, away, plus that fumble or that turnover just before the lightning storm. That was a big
great tackle by Dak Prescott on the fumble. That would have got returned by a TD. I mean, you talk about a play like that really doesn't show up on the box score. I guess it does as a tackle. But that, we criticize quarterbacks for throwing a pick six. But that's the exact opposite of a pick six. That's a pick save or whatever you want to call it. Yeah. Sensational play by Dak Prescott. Had the Cowboys won the game yesterday, if they went to the playoffs, I would have probably labeled that at the end of the season as their play of the year.
Yeah, great catch by you, and something a lot of people miss because it doesn't show up in the box score, really. And again, if you're not paying attention.
You want to know what rule I want to see them enact? I never mentioned this on the show, the NFL. We talk about with all their rule changes. When an official throws a flag, a penalty on a cornerback, I don't want to see the receiver clapping like this. All emotion has to be out of it. That should come on the taunting rule.
Yeah, I don't disagree. And you're talking about pass interference calls, I'm guessing mostly. And I've got a gripe, and I'm gonna air it here again. And all the rule changes they put in, which again, some of them are good for safety and whatnot. Some are silly. They really need to change the pass interference rule to college. It's 15 yards and not spot of the foul, because you see too many wide receivers, every underthrown ball, it seems like in important parts of the game are pass interference because, the defender runs up into the receiver. And I'm so tired of watching that play. And I saw one last night with Pickens. Again, balls underthrown, pass interference. I don't like the spot of the ball foul and the pass interference calls in the NFL. Change that rule. I don't know what your thoughts are.
Yeah, but I understand what you're saying, but keep in mind, if they didn't interfere from the spot, the receiver catching the ball could have run with it additionally. So they're not giving them additional yards over that. I'm okay with that rule as is. The rule that kind of bothers me a little bit, sometimes there's a player's called for like a hit to the head, helmet. He's falling down anyway.
Yeah.
And the guy who, you made the call for fell into him. It happened yesterday. There was a call, I think, on Williams with the Cowboys. He was falling anyway, and he got called for a hit to the head.
I think if they're going to keep that rule, they got to start calling on the offensive guys because they use their helmet as a weapon, not as often, but some of them use it very effectively, lowering that head and, taking a guy down or out of their way. So I agree. James agrees with me about something, probably the pass interference thing, I'm sure. Anyway, it's a long season. This is a tough week. For week one, there's a lot of really good matchups. I'm in a huge survivor pool that I get in every single year that's worth about $150,000. Can't find a team, the Broncos, that I think are really a lock this week. It's usually week one, you got some tough choices. Well, there's tough choices, but the other way. Because when I say tough choices, usually there's a lot of choices. There's only a couple. Eagles been one of them.
Sitting down and writing my predictions.
Yep.
For the most part, I picked a bunch of upsets. I didn't predict the NFL games according to how I felt the teams were going to do this year, in part. I picked some wild upsets because, I'm basing it on what you said, Keith, about teams just being completely out of whack in the beginning of the year, that nothing's normal. But with that said, I had picked the Eagles to beat the Cowboys 20-16 yesterday, and they beat them 24-20. So that game kind of was a norm.
That's close. Speaking of predictions, one thing I want to get into now, because we haven't done it. I know you did it on the big football show last Sunday. I didn't get there. So quickly, we aren't going to spend, well, we don't have to fly through it, but I don't want to go division by division, each team. What I want to do is get our picks for division winners, wild cards, and then I guess the eventual conference champions in each conference. So I can start, or you can. It's up to you.
Well, let's do one whole conference, NFC and AFC, because our guy Brian I was joking with him.
I know you were all over.
Well, yeah, he was bouncing around. He was keeping me off balance, good for him.
I think it was a plan. I think it was to keep you off balance.
Yeah, and he succeeded. He got me off balance. I mean, that's it. You see, if I had the ball and I was on offense and he was a defensive coordinator, I couldn't figure out the scheme,
Let's start in the AFC. Is that okay? Does the AFC work for you if we start in the AFC? You don't have to do too much paper shuffling. Let's start.
Yeah, the AFC is an easy division.
Give me your 4 division winners.
I mean, the Buffalo. I'll give you a quick record for each of them too. Let
me throw a number out there for you as we get to our playoff games. An average of almost 6 teams a year since they started this format. There are 6 new teams every single year in the playoffs. Think about that. Anyway.
Oh, wow. I like the Buffalo Bills, first place AFC East, 13-4 record. Second place, the New York Jets with a 7-10 record. Third place, the New England Patriots with a 6-11 record. Fourth place, the Miami Dolphins with a 4-13 record.
Okay, I'll give you mine. Well, we'll jump to mine. I'm not going to go too quickly. I'll just give you the order. I've got Buffalo. I think we're close. Buffalo, New England, Jets, and Miami.
I just want to say New England's a mess over there, Keith. I'm sorry. This season, Grable doesn't have control of that team. It's Stefan Diggs drama. It's not a good year, New England. He'll be okay for them. They'll be okay next year. They might even be a playoff team next year. But this year, don't get your hopes up with the Pats. They're like this. So the word is disorganized for New England.
Don't take great offense, Ben. Rick will get the joke. But every once in a while, I feel like I'm with the Mad New Yorker again. I don't know. Jesus, good God. There's no problems in New England. Go ahead. North.
AFC North, Baltimore Ravens, first place, 14-3 record. Cincinnati Bengals, second with a 10-7 record. Cleveland Browns, third with a 6-11 record. Pittsburgh Steelers, last, fourth with a 5-12 record. Goodbye, Mike Tomlin and Aaron Rodgers at the end of the year. I think Tomlin resigns on his own and Rodgers isn't back.
Interesting. I have, and again, I'm only tracking for us anyway, later on to talk about our division winners. I've got Cincinnati winning this division. I think the offense will overcome the defense. I think Al Golden will have enough, just a system change there, I think has got to help that defense. I mean, it was historically bad last year. Cincinnati had the worst luck you can have, and not all luck. It's also talent. They lost a lot of close games. I like the Bengals and Joe Burrow here. I think Joe Burrow's the best quarterback in football. And I will. Oops, let me get to my because I didn't write this down. I got to go to the division. I'll take the Ravens second, and I'll take I'll do the same thing you did. I guess it'll be the Ravens second, the Browns third, and the Pittsburgh Steelers last.
There are a lot of people that are high on Pittsburgh. I mean, we're not, but there are a lot of people that are actually high on them. Look at them as a playoff team.
I can see this being a mess. In a short period of time. So interesting.
Yeah.
To the south, which is not tremendously strong from the looks of it.
No, not at all. But I gotta like Houston. First place, 10-7 record. They still got the young talent, nice.
Yeah.
Nucleus and with D'Amico Ryan, I like him as a coach. Second, I'll go with Indianapolis. They always are competitive. They never fall apart, even with Daniel Jones. They'll be second in 8-9 record. The Jacksonville Jaguars, third with a 7-10 record, and they're going to have a Trevor Lawrence problem at the end of the year to go forward with them. And not in fourth, the Tennessee Titans with a 6-11 record. They can afford to just, keep trying to rebuild, with Cam Ward. But how good Cam Ward ultimately will be, is questionable.
Good point. Quick good morning to Linda. Always good to see you.
Hey, Linda, how you doing?
Thank you so much for popping in. And I will put this up here. Brian did confirm that he did have a devious plan to throw you off.
Well, no, Brian changed formations, what he did, AFC, NFC. Brian was changing formations. Brian's like Aaron Glenn, when he was with the Lions there, but he's with the Jets now, so who knows?
That could be worse. My Celtics, I tried hard. I tried very hard to come up with a winner other than Texans because although they've had three, I said all these playoff changes, it seems every single year they average about 6. Last year was less. But the Titans have had 3 different runs of 3 straight division champions. I'm going to take the Texans only because I couldn't find a reason to take the Colts. I do have the Colts second. I have the Jaguars third and the Titans last in this division. So the Texans to win. Moving out west.
Yeah, the AFC West is intriguing because if the Raiders under Pete Carroll are going to make a big improvement, what's going to give? I mean, who's going to, one team has to be sub 500. But with that said, I think there's going to be kind of changing of the guard. I believe Sean Payton. I think the Broncos win the division. They'll be like 12-5. The Chiefs will still be good, but they remind me of the Buffalo Bill teams after the 4 Super Bowls. They still made the playoffs a couple of times, 2 of the 3 years, I think, after that. But they had lost something, off their fastball. Chiefs second place at 11-6. Chargers third place at 9-8. I still think the Chargers could be a year away on the Harbaugh, even though, look, they're playoff team regardless. And the Raiders, they got some good players, but I'm not sold on them quite. They'll be something like 7-10 and 4.
Before I give my picks, is there a division here with a better coaching resume than this division? You got college national champions. The guy's gone to the Super Bowl as well. You got Pete Carroll, who's won in both places. You've got Sean Payton with Super Bowls. You got Andy Reid with Super Bowl. Multiple Super Bowls for Andy Reid. There's not a better. I can't, for the life of me, and I was trying to think of this last night, Jack, and if you can't come up with anything, that's fine. I can't think of a division ever that I remember with this type of coaching resumes in the same division.
Well, the AFC North isn't that bad. You have Harbaugh, Jim Harbaugh over there. John Harbaugh, he won a Super Bowl with the Ravens. Mike Tomlin won one with the Steelers. And Zach Taylor went to a Super Bowl and nearly won one with the Bengals.
I got champion.
Kevin Stefanski did take the Browns to the playoffs, and I think he was a coach of the year. So they're not a bad. I mean, they're not quite as accomplished as the AFC West, but they can hold their own.
They can hold their own, but this is elite. I mean, I can't remember ever. Maybe the NFC East years ago. I'm trying to think of maybe, maybe with
Yeah.
Parcells and Joe Gibbs. And I don't know who else was at the Eagles and how they lined up time-wise without doing some more math, but that's just something I thought about last night. Anyway, my picks for this division, I'm not willing, I'm kind of like Chris Berman with Buffalo, I think, years ago, even though Buffalo never won. The Chiefs find ways to win every year. They got to go do it without Rashid Rice for 6 games. If they can survive that streak, that stretch, and he comes back ready to play, I think the Chiefs defend their title at least one more time. I think the Chiefs will be better than they were last year by the end of the season. I like the Chiefs to win this division. Broncos second. It is tough. I'm going Raiders third and Chargers last.
You said something that was interesting and thought-provoking just now about the Chiefs.
Why we stop the show?
They're not going to be they're not going to be better record-wise than they were the first 16 games last year when they were 15-1. But they won so many tight games. Maybe last year was their down year, and they're going to bounce back this year. Maybe a down year was going to the Super Bowl. I mean, who knows? But I kind of feel it's going to be a little bit of changing of the guard finally. The signs of their Travis Kelce might be at the end of the line, even though he's coming back very determined at age 36. Trent McDuffie didn't quite sign the deal. They proposed to him. And I was so high on him, one of the great cornerback safeties, in the NFL.
Yeah.
I just don't know with the Chiefs. They'll be good. I think their changing of the guard happens to them during the playoffs itself, but they don't quite go to the Super Bowl. I
mean, full transparency, I think my backing of the Chiefs year after year is because every year they try to write them off. I don't get it.
Let me give you my AFC playoff predictions game by game. You don't have to have it.
Hold on. I need 3 wild cards, and you can do what you want to do.
Oh, yeah, sure. I mean, I like the Cincinnati Bengals to be a wild card.
Okay.
The Kansas City Chiefs.
Yeah.
And the LA Chargers.
Chargers, okay.
I think the Ravens will get the bye. Which makes, I'm going to tell you, Keith.
The Ravens can't get the
Sunday night's game.
Can I go back?
Between the Ravens and the Bills is so big. That could have implications as far as who gets the bye. If they have the same record at the end of the year.
Yeah.
That could be a super big game because, I mean, I'm picking the Ravens, I'll tell you now, to go to the Super Bowl, but I'm basing it in part at least on them having home field advantage in the AFC Championship game. Not that it did them any good when they played the Chiefs. Okay, I get all that.
Yeah.
But if they have to play the AFC Championship game in Buffalo, it becomes obviously a much harder task.
Yeah. Okay.
But what I think is going to happen, let me just give you, I don't know whether you have the games, but I just want to go over what I think.
Give you you can do what you want. I'm going to give you the conference championship games in the Super Bowl.
Let me know your wild card.
Oh, my wild cards, sorry, are Broncos, Patriots, and Ravens.
Whoa. Keith, you missed something. You accidentally made a mistake. You said Patriots. You meant
No, I meant the Patriots.
What did you mean?
What? Okay. I said the New England Patriots.
You're not joking around.
I am not joking around. They slide.
All the trouble in New England. I mean, man.
Well, you again. I got to get you some.
I got my sources. I got instincts. I can spot trouble. With an organization like that. I know the way they're operating. There are problems in New England, and it's going to continue throughout the year. And Grable will be on Sports Center for getting into it with reporters, having an incident, losing his cool. Kraft is going to be under pressure. Like, what is going on with this once great organization we're going to hear?
I've been saying that for the last 5 years. It's better. It's a refreshing. It's a breath of fresh air there right now. Go watch it. Go watch his news conferences or press conferences you keep pointing out, and watch them in the right context because he's having fun with these guys nearly every time.
He's putting on a smiley face. He's hiding his frustration, behind humor.
Here's what I think. That we're ready to turn the corner and have another 20-year run, and it scares you to death, and you're trying to find a way out of it. I know you are. So anyway, go ahead.
Okay, well, so when you want me to wait to give my playoff predictions?
We can do the AFC if you want to do the playoffs. I'm going to give you it's a conference championship game. I'm not going to go through the round because I can't.
Yeah, which is okay because the chances of all these games being played are very small, obviously. But this is to have fun. I like the Bills over the Chargers. Okay, in the first round, the Bengals to upset the Broncos. You call it an upset, but I'm sure the Broncos will be slightly favored if they do play at Denver. The Chiefs over the Texans. Then I like the Ravens over the Bengals. Should be a great game. And then I like the Bills to finally get over the hump against the Chiefs. And they'll beat them. They'll beat them in Buffalo. They'll celebrate. And then there'll be the championship game. Buffalo will go to Baltimore, and the Ravens will win, and Ravens go to the Super Bowl.
Ravens go to the Super Bowl. You said they beat Buffalo, right? Yeah.
Yeah, it's tempting to pick Buffalo because there's a sense that this could finally be their year. They've been, knocking on the door so long. But haven't the Ravens been knocking on the door too?
They have. They're close. I mean, again,
I think the Ravens' personnel is just slightly better.
Danny will point out I'm not a homer. He knows how tough I am on my team, so he does like the Patriots as well, which, again, we'll see how that goes. Phantom Turmoil, one of their comments. So, anyway.
9 wins, Danny. 9 wins. Might get a team in the playoffs because I'm picking the Chargers to go there with a 9-8 record. I think 9 wins could sneak into the playoffs.
I do too. Just got to get. I don't think the Patriots are better than 9, and maybe they're a playoff win in there. I'm not making that prediction because I don't know what the matchups are going to be. But again, it's just where we are. So Teddy Jack has more Billy than Carlos.
Billy, who's Billy?
Billy, it's another Sunday stream of consciousness guy. My we have an award for the Itch Award, which there's another word that it's actually the Ick Award. It should be for the guy who can rile me up the most. Anyway, move on to the NFC. Let's start with the East.
Yeah, I mean, Philadelphia. I picked them yesterday to win by 4 points. They actually won by 4 points. Philadelphia first with a 12-5 record. Washington Commanders second with an 11-6 record. They'll give them a firm challenge. Cowboys, I'm going to still hold with a 7-10 record. Okay, I know they played well yesterday, but it's one game. Giants fourth with a 5-12 record. I'm hearing all this talk, the Giants are going to be so much better than we thought. I don't see them as contenders. If the Giants go 8-9, I'll consider it a very successful season if they go 8-9. I just don't think they're that good, even though defensively, they'll probably have a really, good pass rush, picking up Abdul Carter to add to Burns and Lawrence and Thibodeau to an extent.
So Eagles to win the division, right? All right.
Yeah.
All right. Before I make my predictions, I have one other prediction. Danny will be commenting, ripping your Giants pick in a second. after my experience last year picking the Giants to make the playoffs. You didn't pick the Giants. I don't think you have. I'm going to go. I changed my mind in the last 20 minutes. I picked the team formerly known as the Redskins to win this division. Eagles second, Cowboys third, probably better than you think. And then the Giants, better than you think. I don't have them winning 9 games, but you mentioned this before. I think the Giants can win 5-6 games this year and be markedly improved from where they were last year as well. I think you'll see Jackson Dart sooner than you think, but I'm not going to predict the Giants. So, Giant fans, you can be assured you're probably going to the playoffs this year.
If you're seeing Jackson Dart sooner than we think, that means they've been losing games, number one. And Jackson Dart will be learning, and the season's going to be based on his development in large part.
Oh, I agree 100%. Go to the Central. Tough division. Or, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
There is no Central anymore. Sorry, my flashback 20 years.
right.
The North.
I mean, I like the Detroit Lions. They're not going to be 15-2 like they were last year. I like them to win the division type race, about 11-6. I think the Micah Parsons deal helps the Packers. I was going to go with the Bears second. Before that, it was like a toss-up. I think Micah Parsons has a really big year. Packers second place at 10-7. I think it does move them one spot. So I think that's a big deal for the Packers. Bears improving third place, 9-8. Caleb Williams starts establishing himself as a really top-tier NFL quarterback, but before the year's out. And I think the Vikings are the ones that slide backwards, not disastrously, but they'll be like an 8-9 team. They'll be very, very average.
Oh, we're gonna fire Rick up today too. I'm going to go with those Detroit Lions as well, and I like them to go further than they went last year. We'll talk about that later. The rest of this division to me is really close. I like the Bears to finish second, much improved, I think, along the offensive line and some of the weapons. I think Ben Johnson will bring a fresh, again, speaking of breath of fresh airs to that organization. Vikings and Packers. I'm going to give the Vikings third, and I'm going to put the Packers in there last, only because I still have this, I don't know, this thing with Jordan Love. I'm not quite sure how good he is. He plays great. He looks like one of the top 5 quarterbacks in the game for like 3 games, and he looks like, the back half of the quarterbacks in the league for a couple of games. So,
whoa. Let me stop you. Correct me if I'm wrong when it comes to you. I'm not 100% what I'm saying is accurate. So if it's not accurate, give me a pass on it.
That's nothing new.
Didn't you condemn the Micah Parsons deal with the Cowboys, thinking, those draft choices could go in the 20s? If they're going to finish last, that chances are that is going to be a nice draft choice for Jerry.
I didn't necessarily condemn it. I critiqued it from both sides. I say early, the immediate part of this, if Micah's healthy, he's already getting epidural for this week's game if he can play. Then I think the Packers get the better end of this immediately. The Cowboys could get it later on if draft picks work out, but draft picks are called prospects for a reason. We don't know what they're going to be. I don't care if they're in the 20s or they're in the 10s. They could lose. I said they could fail. So, and this could go either way. You've said it many times. We don't know the results of any of these trades that involve draft picks for years, basically.
Yeah.
So we'll find out. You're not too far. I didn't really condemn it on either side. Let's move to the South. Another fun division, exciting football being played there.
I mean, the Buccaneers always seem to win that division. So I'll go with the Buccaneers first. They're going to be a little better than the past during the regular season, where they win the division with a 9-8 record, even an 8-9 record. They'll come in first, go something like 11-6. Panthers are going to improve a lot before the year's out.
Yeah.
Not a playoff type team, but they'll be about 8-9, second place. Third place, the Falcons will be their usual 7-10, which I think they were 3 years in a row before last year. Mm-hmm. And the Saints will be coming last. They're like they're train wreck there. They'll be like 2-15. But they'll have the number 1 choice in the draft. So maybe they start turning it around next year.
Yeah, we aren't too far. We aren't far off here at all. Actually, we're almost dead on. We are dead on as far as the order. I like the Bucs to win this again. Listen, they're underrated. And if you want to take a team from far back in the odds to get to the Super Bowl, I think the Bucs could make that kind of run if they get hot at the right time, the end of the year. Not likely, but if you want a long shot, there's one. I do like the Panthers to finish second, be better again, as you said, probably not above 500, but approaching it. And I do like the the Falcons to be a bit better than the Saints. And I do think Michael Penix Jr. will not be the quarterback there for this full season. It will not be because of injury. I think Kirk Cousins ends up back in there. I'm not a big fan of Michael Penix.
Kirk Cousins, just to let you know, he's through. He's got nothing left. But you want to go back to him.
He had nothing left.
They wanted it does see the purpose. Okay. Let's get to West because I want to leave a little time over for the
we'll get there. Real quick. Don't just let me respond. Kirk Cousins was one of the best quarterbacks in the NFC anyway until he got hurt last year. Just saying. All right. We're all the way up to the West. Yeah, we're doing good.
I think the Arizona Cardinals finally break through.
Oh.
They've been contenders all these years. This is it. Do or die for Kyler Murray to elevate, them and utilize Marvin Harrison more, But I like the Arizona Cardinals to win it at 10-7. The Rams, second place, highly competitive, close division at 9-8. The 49ers, who aren't contenders anymore, even though some people think they could be, they're not what they were. They'll be third, 7-10. And the Seattle Seahawks simply aren't good. With Sam Darnold as their quarterback, they'll be last at 5-12.
Good job there. I'll take the Rams to win, though, myself. Here, I'm going to take Jesus, I can't even remember who's out there now. I'll take your Cardinals second. I'll take the 49. I'll take the Seahawks third, the 49ers fourth, though. I don't think either one of these teams are going to be very good. Again, the 49ers have lost a lot of production in Kittle's getting older and Samuel not being there anymore. Yeah. And I don't think
McCaffrey hurt again.
Yeah, I don't think Purdy's a guy that's putting a team on his back. He needs the weapons around him. So there you go. Wild card picks.
Wild card picks, the Commanders solidly, the Packers, and the LA Rams.
I have the Bears, the Vikings, and the Eagles.
Okay, you're picking the Commanders to win that division.
I picked the team from
What I think is going to happen, my NFL playoff scenario, even though the games are unlikely to get played as much, is going to be you're going to have the Eagles getting the bye to start the playoffs. The Buccaneers are going to win at home against the Rams. The Lions are going to win at home against the Packers. Then the Commanders are going to beat win in Arizona over the Cardinals. Then the Eagles are going to beat the Commanders. And then in the big upset at home, the Buccaneers, not a big upset, but at home, the Buccaneers are going to beat the Detroit Lions in Tampa. And then in the AFC Championship game, big upset, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers go into Philadelphia, they beat the Eagles, and they go to the Super Bowl.
You took the long shot I threw out there for you. Great job.
Baker Mayfield is going to be an MVP candidate this year. He's going to be in the running. Big year for Baker Mayfield this season. He's going to be regarded as a top 10 quarterback by the end of the year.
Yeah, Niners have the easiest schedule. That doesn't always work out, though.
My Super Bowl pick.
Go ahead.
I'll get back to reality. Baltimore Ravens 27, Tampa Bay Buccaneers 14.
I got hold on.
We got it very quickly. I got to give you my college picks, right, Keith?
No, I got to give you my.
We got to go talk boxing now, Keith.
Slow down. We're for 1 minute.
Draining the clock. We don't got no time. I got no timeouts left.
We can go 2 minutes over if we have to. I have. Because I didn't give you my national conference picks.
Yeah, I'm waiting.
I've got the Lions over the team formerly known as the Redskins in the conference championship game, and Buffalo over the Lions in the Super Bowl to finally break that curse in Buffalo, whatever curse that might be.
And they break the curse in Detroit by getting to the
Super Bowl. Correct.
Yeah, so that would be a nice, heartwarming Super Bowl.
I'm glad I didn't take the long shot possibility because you stole it right out from under me. Great job there with the Bucks pick.
No, I didn't know what you thought with the Bucks. I think the Bucks are better this year.
I know.
They got 3 elite receivers. Todd Bowles has done a great job with that defense. I mean, they are good.
They are good. I will give you that. They're good. Their weapons are not exciting, but they're very efficient. The weapons around Baker Mayfield himself is not thought of as an elite quarterback, and certainly the guys around him. But they're very good. Bucky Irving is a really good running back, but nobody talks about. He goes high in fantasy drafts, I can tell you that. So, anyway, good stuff. We'll keep track of that as the year goes on. College football week 2 coming up. Not nearly as exciting as week 1. There's a few good matchups, but as you know, Jack and I every week will be picking 2 favorites and a dog. And I did change the rules a little bit that if you pick a dog in double digits and they win, you're going to get 2 extra points. Or 1 extra point. Jack now is leading me 4-3. I mean, I have he's 4-3. I have 3-3 because he's got 1 underdog winner in Florida State, double digits. So let's start with your favorites.
Well, I'm going to tell you, the team that's a long shot, don't laugh, to win the national championship. But I think they're going to be better by the end of the year. Everything I'm looking up and researching, Illinois. Illinois, I mean, they're rated number 11, and I think they're just going to get better. They're more likely to make a run into the top 5 than they ought to slip out of the top 20. That's my thought. So I'll give 2.5 points, for them to beat, Duke. Yep. I'll give those points. But Duke has an intriguing NFL prospect in Darian Mensah. He's very intriguing. He's going to get drafted and maybe a first-round selection when all is said and done.
Manny Diaz has done a good job at Duke, but I like Illinois in this game. That's a good pick.
Yeah. I also like Clemson to bounce back, giving a whooping 31.5 points to Troy. If Clemson is a serious, national championship threat, a semi-serious threat, you got to destroy a team like Troy. I mean, beating them by 30 points is destroying them, you could say. But you got to chew them up. After what happened last week,
I agree.
Them losing to LSU, they're going to utterly, roll over them, I think. And my underdog pick, I'll take Kentucky with the 8.5 again. Ole Miss. Ole Miss is they always seem to be rated about 20th every year. They seem to have that rating about. And I'll tell you, why do they wait for conference games till the second week? I don't get it.
Yeah, we've seen a few conference games so far, but not a lot. But most of these guys will play cupcakes the first 2 weeks. Georgia's not playing. We won't know anything about Georgia. We won't know anything about Penn State until the month is out.
And week 4, everyone seems to have a tough game. Week 4.
Yeah.
For some reason, they kept great matchups week 4, week 1 and week 4.
This might very well be the worst week we see as far as matchups go. There's a couple of good games, but I think the best game I would say I'm picking as my underdog. I think the best game on the schedule, actually. I'm going similar to you in your Clemson pick. I'm not going to Clemson. I'm going to Alabama. They need to just go and beat UL Monroe by a lot. And they're a 34.5 point favorite. I think they're going to lay the wood to them. I think they're getting their running back and their offensive linemen that were out last week back. They got to make a statement. Kalen DeBoer is already getting questions about job security.
Yeah.
Not a good sign. I'll lay the 34.5 there. I'm also going to go with another big spread, 20.5. I almost went against Army, but I don't like to pick against the military academies. I'm going to take Navy minus 20.5 against Alabama Birmingham in that game. Navy's really good, by the way. They got a really good chance to win that American Conference and have a shot at that Group of 5 pick. And my my underdog pick is another big spread. I like South Florida, who's also a candidate to win that American Conference and that Group of 5 playoff pick against Florida. They're at Florida, getting 17.5. They just dismantled a decent Boise State team last week. South Florida is going to be better than you think. I'll take the 17.5 in that game. So, plus I want a chance at double points because I think they could win the game actually. So I had a couple of provisional picks here in case you stole any of mine. I got to cross them off. So there we are, 4-3. Jack is leading me by half a game. It's going to be close. Jack Jack picks this stuff up quick. I know he kind of misses his college football knowledge, but
I actually do watch games, Keith, but I kind of bounce around channel to channel. I sometimes enjoy a lesser game. I sometimes tune to a lesser game while a marquee game is going on. I mean, you have it seems like a dozen games going on at once. So I like to see sometimes some of the smaller colleges.
Yeah, I have TVs going on all over the house with different games on. I just wander around the house all day if I'm home, and that's what we do. So good stuff.
I didn't say Illinois was going to win the national championship. I mean, Danny, I still made a comment there. Yeah. I just thought they could surprise. I think they're going to. I think before the year's out, Illinois is going to be rated in the top 5.
I think there's
the playoffs. They're going to make a run. That's what I'm saying.
I think they make the playoff. I've got them and Nebraska as possible long shots there in the Big Ten. That's It's such a deep conference. It's going to be very hard just to get through the conference and to the championship game. So we'll see how that goes. But we'll keep track of that. Let's go to boxing real quick because Yankees big series this weekend against the Blue Jays. I think Monday we'll talk a little bit. I want to talk a little bit about the Framber Valdez thing. But we don't have time right now. I want to get into that a little bit. Maybe we'll do it on Monday, even though it'll be older news, but we'll still get to it. Yankees had big series in Toronto. They've turned it around. They can tie the division if they sweep this weekend. So they're shutting me up, Jack. They're shutting me up.
Well, no, it's not over yet as far as the Yankees getting the best record, even though I think they're going to get into the playoffs as a wild card. Yep. These games with Toronto are important because between Toronto and the Tigers, if the Yankees can play really well this last month and they falter, I mean, the key to getting to the World Series in part is getting the wild card because you only have to win 2 series in the playoffs instead of 3. To do the math, it always makes it much better if you get the bye. Well,
there's 2 schools of thoughts there. I mean, teams are used to playing every day. Some of those teams have come out of the bye and not played very well. So I think it's important to get healthy, but we'll see. I did want to get into boxing. I didn't talk about this the other day, and I wanted to. Joe Bugner passed away here the last week, I think last weekend. Not a great fighter, but he fought in some big fights and held his own against Ali. And some will say other than I've read, and you can correct me, some will say other than Frazier and Foreman. Frazier and Ali gave Joe Frazier his toughest fight. I've read that. Joe Bugner passes away. What are your thoughts on Joe Bugner? He's a bit of a character, too.
Yeah, Joe Bugner, perennial contender, originally from the UK, settled in Australia after. So he was a combination of a guy from the UK and Australia, you could say. Like I said, former heavyweight contender, fought Ali twice. He fought Ali in February 1973 before Ali got upset by Ken Norton. Gave Ali a very good fight. Ali was actually in shape for that first fight with Bugner. And then Ali had a rematch with Bugner, for the heavyweight title, and Ali was in good shape for that fight against Bugner because he respected Bugner. Bugner didn't have a punch. He wasn't in the offensive fight. I didn't have that great output, and Ali outpointed him very comfortably, lopsidedly, you could say, when they fought for the title. Bugner also fought a number of the big names in the division. He fought Joe Frazier in Frazier's fight after Frazier lost the title to Foreman in January 1973. He then fought Bugner in England on Bugner's turf on July 2nd, 1973. And Bugner gave Frazier a good fight. Frazier knocked him down with a left hook in the 10th round. But Bugner did stagger Frazier after that round, and Frazier won a decision in a hard-fought fight. He lost the close decision, Bugner, to Ron Lyle. Very good fighter. He was kind of a bit of a safety first fighter, not a big punch at all for heavyweight. Yeah. One of these legitimate perennial contenders, but never an elite contender that posed a extremely serious threat to let's say an Ali, and he never fought Foreman, and that he fought a younger version of Frazier, but passed away. But one of the big names in the division during the 1970s.
Yeah, I remember as a kid him fighting like everybody. So it was
Yeah, one of the big names in the division.
Yeah.
A good fighter.
And the other big news that's come out here the last couple of days is exhibition match. Why are we having exhibition matches? I don't even know. Mike Tyson will fight one more time for a big payday, I'm sure, against Floyd Mayweather. And do we care?
I don't want to see it, but it's going to create interest because it's Tyson Mayweather. It's, what do they call it, Keith? Reality TV or whatever you want to call it. And people are going to tune in and they're going to wonder, is it going to be staged, not staged? Does Tyson at his age, close to 60, is he going to have anything left at all? And Mayweather's such a smaller guy. I kind of don't. I don't want to see. I don't want to see, but at the same time, if they put it on Netflix, like they did Tyson and Jake Paul, I'm absolutely going to watch, but I'm not going to pay my money like pay-per-view.
If boxing was in a better place, especially heavyweight boxing, would we be getting these matches still, you think, because they make money, or would we not see this type of...
I want to see lined up team against team. Why don't we see the 85 Chicago Bears line up or something, or the old 49ers with Joe Montana playing the Patriots with Tom Brady. This way they settle a feud, Montana and Brady. Not that they have a feud, but it's a joke.
It's
a joke. It's entertainment. If you look at it that it's entertainment, then it's okay. But if you look at it from a serious viewpoint, then there's something wrong.
Will you watch this fight?
Not on pay-per-view. I'm not going to spend anything pay-per-view.
I haven't read. I think
it's on Netflix. Keith, how can you not watch it?
It's like a train wreck. You can't turn away from a car.
No, well, listen, it's the curiosity fact. If it's on TV and it doesn't cost you anything, why not tune in and just watch it?
I agree.
But put it in perspective. Don't be disappointed after. That's the thing about it. If you're expecting a great boxing match, anything, don't complain afterwards, because then you're being the fool if that's what you expect. I don't mean you individually. I'm talking about the audience.
I get it.
But if you're viewing it for pure entertainment, then, go ahead.
Good stuff. Well, we got through it all, I think, pretty much, Jack. Good job today. A lot to talk about. We'll be back on Monday to see how we did on some of our picks, and you'll see our game picks on Sunday on the Big Football Show. Jack, you got the debate show tomorrow morning. You're back?
Oh, yeah, I've been back, Keith. Come on.
No, not you. The show was off last week, right?
Not the debate show. Glove Fest. Labor Day was off.
You got. I retired. I don't even know what day it is. What is?
That's money. You're retired. You have been partying, Keith. Those retirement parties, man. There's a carryover.
It has been a rough week, and thank God for the show. I know when Monday and Friday is. That's so I'm good.
You got. Everyone's going to tell you got time on your hands, Keith. Now that you're retired, what are you going to do with yourself? They're going to be asking you.
I'm going to be fending off Jack's nonsense about the Patriots ascension. That's what I'm going to be doing. Guys, have a great weekend. We'll see you. Well, Jack will see you tomorrow morning with the debate show. I'll see you Sunday with the Sunday Stream of Consciousness, and we'll both see you on the Big Football Show. So have a good weekend, guys. Bye-bye.